Hi everybody, my name is Dennis. So today we're going to talk about a CPU air cooler I've been wanting to try out for some time. I have a 5900X, or so Ryzen 9 5900X CPU, and you have to have pretty good cooling in order to get good temps. And I didn't want to go water cooling this time, so I went with the air cooler. And what better to choose than Noctua's NH D15S, and of course I got it in Chromax Black just because it looks better. Let's have a look. So we're going to get it out of the box and see what we got. So here's our cooler itself. Yeah, it's kind of a look, and we're going to get it out and have a look at it here in a minute. But it's a beefy, it's a big beefy cooler. So we're going to have a quick look at it. Of course, it comes with all the fittings you're going to need for mounting it to your motherboard, and even includes some NTH1 high-grade thermal compound, which is pretty cool. And of course, it even tells you, it was kind of cool, because you don't always see this. So you got your Intel, your AMD, and everything that comes with it. So kind of can't go wrong with that. So pretty much explains right there. You almost don't even need to see me install it. But we're going to do it anyway. So you will need to be a little careful when you take this off, because it does come this little thing here. Now, this just protects the plate. There is no pre-applied thermal paste in this because they give you the thermal paste to put on it. So this just protects it and keeps it from your fingers touching it, stuff like that. So let's get it completely out of the box and go from there. So let's go over some of the features of this. So of course, because it's not the normal colors that they originally started with, this is called the Chromax Black design. Secure Firm 2 multi-socket, multi-system or mounting. So basically it means Intel, AMD, high compatibility version of NHD15. Of course, come from Noctua. And some of the things you might want to know is it takes a 140 millimeter fan. Okay, it's 135 from here to here. All right, and then looking straight on. Okay, so if you're looking on this way, what you're seeing from here to here is 150 by 160. So 150 is this way and 160 all the way up. So that would probably be millimeters, I would believe. So if you're looking to find out if that's going to fit in your case, that's what you're going to probably need to know. So apparently you can get this with any vibration pads. So it's also available in black, blue, green, red, yellow, and white. That I did not know. So you can customize it depending on your color scheme. Compared to the award-winning NHD15, the Esh version uses an offset asymmetrical layout in a single instead of dual NFA15 fans. This allows the NHD15S to provide state-of-the-art heatsink performance while maintaining superior RAM and PCIe compatibility. And I'll show you that in a minute here, what they're referring to. And its aerodynamic design has features flow acceleration channels and a reputation as one of the best 140 millimeter fans on the market. The fan speed can be reduced from 1500 to 1200 RPM using the supplied low noise adapter for even quieter operation, and a max airflow with LNA of 115.5. The max acoustical noise is 24.6 decibels. Now again, I'm taking this all from the packaging, so this is what they're saying it will do. And max acoustical noise of 19.2 decibels. That's with LNA. Max input power is 1.56 watts, and it has a runtime of 150,000 hours, so that's quite a long time. So what I want to show you is when you're looking, see how they got it cut out? So you're going to have all this space for RAM, and it's not just this one side, it's both sides. All right, so just so you can see that really clearly. And of course, like I say, PWM 4-pin connector, all nicely tucked away in here. And we've got our fan in here. So on getting the box of accessories, mounting gear, all that kind of stuff open, the nice thing that they do is they give you 2 little pamphlets. You have one for AMD, the other one for Intel. And inside it tells you exactly what you're going to need to mount this. So I'm going to separate them to what I need for an AMD build, and we'll just have a quick look. It's really simple, which I really like about the way it's going to be put together. So it does only come with the 1 fan. I had thought originally that it came with 2, but that's okay. That's the way it's been designed. You've got your NHT1, or what is it, NTH1? Noctua NTH1 thermal paste. Now, I happen to have one of these already, so I'm not going to use the new one. I'll use one of the other ones. And the really cool thing is they keep all the extra stuff that you may not need in here, like for an extra fan, all that kind of good stuff, and even an extension. So we'll have a look at that in a second. And all our mounting gear separately. So if you need any of this stuff, and they even include this little screwdriver, so you put it down in through here, and you're going to be able to fasten everything down. So that's kind of cool. Let's get out exactly what I need for AMD now. I wanted to just start off by showing you everything you get. So all your little packages, everything here, your thermal paste, and your little extension for the low noise adapter. So this plugs into here, and that plugs into the motherboard. So your CPU header on your motherboard. The required mounting parts, it does tell you you are going to need your AMD stock backplate, which comes with the motherboard. Okay, if you watch my video on the B550 Plus Prime ASUS motherboard, you'll have seen me show you that. And then, of course, you need 4 of the NM-ALS1 long screws and 2 of the NM-AM-B8 mounting bars. All right. So the reason they tell you that is so every part is labeled. It has a specific number on it and everything like that. So you can't possibly get the wrong ones. So the gray spacers, so these ones here, are for AM4, and the white ones are for AM2, AM3, FM1, and FM2. So that's just why you have different ones. So for an AM4 install, everything that you need is now here. We have our cooler, we have our screwdriver, kind of where they've designed it. You have your low noise adapter, your thermal paste, your caps. Okay, these are going to go on your back plate, and the 4 screws to make sure it's securely held in place. So let's make sure that that's the simple part. Make sure that if you have a CPU cooler on there already, you're going to need to remove it. If you don't have the motherboard back plate, you're going to have to find that so you can use it. All right, just keep these things in mind. So we are going to do the install, but just for those that are not used to all the different details, what everything is, here's a motherboard. This right here is your back plate, okay? Okay, you can see where the screws are holding it in place. So let's turn that across so you can see. All right, these are your brackets. So you're going to have to remove these, and we'll go through the whole process of where that's going to go on. Okay, so first thing I want to do is show you where our brackets are going to go. So our brackets are going to go, we're going to remove these. Well, it actually seems a little loose anyway, but we're going to take these off. So leave this one fastened on, remove these 2 screws, and then this whole thing will just come up. Now, when you take it up, you'll notice that the back plate is sitting there. If you take them both out, then it could drop down, or you just could have problems, especially if you're doing it and it's already in a case. So now you take your bracket, look for the one that says the AM3 is on the left-hand side, AM4 is on the right-hand side. Okay, so when you're putting them on, they're going to go like this. So first things first, put your little thing here. This is going to go on top. Okay, like I say, you have to line up your screws so they go on there right. And that's the way they're going to be. They're going to be on like this. and another one on the other side. But fasten this one on first. Then your back plate is going to stay there. Okay, so let's hold it, put it in place, and screw it in. So I made sure that's on where it says the 4 for EM4 and not the 3. Okay, so same thing with this one. I'm going to tighten it down. You want to snug it down, but not over tighten. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on this side. So take this bracket off, put these ones back on with your screws, put everything back on. So we're going to come back once I've done that. So just in case you're wondering, this is a screw that comes out. That's when it's going in. And you can see there's a definite difference in the height. So that's why they give you the 4 new screws. Okay, so take this off, pop this back on, put your plate again with a little nub facing up and the curve going toward where your CPU is going to go. Put it on here and put your screws in and tighten it on. Okay, so once you have both brackets on, you're good to go. Now we're going to, on your cooler, and something I want to mention as well, is you have to take out your fan. All right, so your fan in here has to come out. So take that out with the brackets, little clips here. So right here and right there, that's going to fit down over top of those screws, on top of these little nubs. And then it's just going to screw in place. So it's going to be pretty simple. Probably one of the easiest installations I've done. Well, not the easiest, but it's pretty close. So the other thing I want to show you, or just make mention of, is there's 12 heat pipes on this thing. So I'm going to zoom back out so you can see it. When you're looking at it, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course 6 more on the other side. Like I say, you got these little things here. They're going to fit over top. Don't forget you're going to need thermal paste. And don't forget you're going to have to take this fan off. Okay, so I got our CPU. And I've checked all the pins. And believe it or not, this is fresh out of the box. And I don't know if you can see it. But I noticed a couple spots. Let me see if I can show that to you. Really, really, even under a microscope, hard to see. But there was a couple bent pins. So go really carefully when you check these. Make sure they're all okay before you put it in your motherboard. Because if you're going to run into a problem, and this I do this all the time, document opening it up. So if it doesn't go into that slot for whatever reason, at least you have a reason for why. And now you can take it back and return it without any real problems. So we're going to see what happens. Find out in 2 seconds here. So first off, take the little lever and just bring it up. Now, if this is all okay, it should just go in no problem. So let's find out. Yep, so, okay. Obviously it wasn't enough to affect it, but really makes me feel uneasy, to be honest. And I can tell right now, something's not 100% right, because that is not setting in there completely frost. And it should be. It's like it's not, it's like, see how it's going, it's not in there right. So I might have to return this. And considering it was fresh out of the box like that, I don't know what to do. Anyway, we'll return after I solve the dilemma of the CPU problem. Okay, so I may won't live to regret this, but I have a huge magnifying glass, which I very carefully bent those pins back in place. So yeah, I might really wind up regretting this. So, but given that it was sealed in the package, when I opened it in a sealed box, I'm really not happy over that. Maybe that's why there's a big discount on all the CPUs out now. Is maybe they've discounted them because they had a huge factory run, where there's a lot of problems with them. So if you happen to be having a problem with an AMD Ryzen processor right now, maybe be very careful checking your pins to make sure that they're all intact. Because if this is, I mean, everything should be okay now, but that is something that can cause you so many problems. And detecting that and finding out what that is, well, good luck with that. Anyhow, I'm at the point, all I got to do is apply my thermal paste, put my CPU cooler on, and fasten it down through here, and I will show you how to do that in one moment. Okay, so our CPU's in, we've got our brackets on for an AM4 install. Now we're going to apply our thermal paste, which is the NT-H1 Noctua thermal paste. So I'm just going to do a little bead. That's more than enough. That'll spread out really, really good. Now we're going to get our cooler. Remember I said we have to take the fan out. And the way it's designed, you don't have to worry about which way it goes down. It'll be fine. So I'm just going to pan back out here a little bit. So when you put it on, line up your screws here. Okay, that's going to go down over top of those screws. So that's going to be the tough part. Now we need our screwdriver. So you can see I've got them lined up over top of the screws. And now it's just a matter of tightening them down. So we're just going to fit this one down. It may need a little adjustment just to get that screw to go on there. And you're going to have to hold it in place till you get it started. Now, again, don't do too much. Do a little bit at a time. So once you know what's on there, keep switching back and forth and tighten it down. And quite frankly, now that it's on, you can see the screws here, one on this side, one on this side, which is exactly why you had to take the fan off. But now that we got it on there, it's all tightened down. It's not going anywhere. Pretty beefy CPU cooler. So now all we have left is put on our fan. So put it back in. And of course you want your fan to blow toward the back of your PC. So which is going to be right here. So put your fan back in. Hooks on pretty good on both sides here and on the other side, of course. Okay. See how that's fastened on just right there. So your CPU fan is this one here, and this is your CPU optional. So CPU fan, line up your pins. Okay. And just push down. That's it. So it's very short, which is kind of nice. Tucks everything out of the way. Now you can buy a second fan if you want to put one on here. Hell, you probably have 3. So it's up to you. But I want to show you the RAM clearance. See how much RAM clearance you've got? You got tons. Okay, so no matter how much memory you have, how tall it is, it's going to fit. So something I almost forgot is our Noctua's low noise adapter in a RC7. So that just goes on. So this plugs into the motherboard. Now you don't have to use this, but if you want quiet, that's what you do. So you take this part here, plug this one into it, line those tabs up again. All right, simple as that. And then plug this in to your CPU fan, same as we did before. Now it's going to give you a little more. Now you can take this off, of course. I'm going to leave it on because it just reminds me what the heck it is. So, because I haven't seen them before or used them before, so I just want to make sure down the road, if it's not me, somebody else knows what the heck that is or why it's on there. Why do I need that extra little bit of length or whatever? So we're going to tuck this in here out of the way. We've got our memory in here now. So that's all there is to it. We've got our CPU in. CPU's installed, 5900X, Ryzen 9 5900X. Our Noctua NH-D15S Chromax Black CPU cooler with the low noise adapter on it. So we're going to fire it up after, of course, our graphics card goes in, and of course connect the power supply. And well, actually I won't need a hard drive right away, but I'll probably put one in there anyway. And we'll bring it up, and then we'll see what the temperature says, and maybe we'll come back after I can do some testing and everything. But maybe that might be another video. But anyway, that's our install. Everything's good to go. Hope I helped you out. So unfortunately, that is where the video ends. Installation is done, so at least you got to see that, how it all goes together. But the 5900X did not work, obviously, because those pins were bent. Even though I took like 2 hours to straighten them all, and none of them broke, and everything seemed fine. No. It came out of the box that way. The place I bought it from will not let me return it, even though I'm within that window. And so basically, they told me go to AMD and see if they'll help you, which they're gonna, if the place that I buy from all the time isn't going to let me do it, if they're going to accuse me of basically having done it myself out of the box, the only recourse is to check it every time I buy it, make them open the box there, and check those pins. They do it automatically with Intel CPUs, so why they don't have that policy for AMD, no idea. I don't think I'm going to have any luck going to AMD, getting them to accept it at all. So I'm going to try, but more than likely, I'm going to have to get a magnifying glass that's even bigger. Try moving the pins, try see if I can do it again, and see what happens. But just to give you a little information, the temperatures that this CPU cooler usually will put out on idle is around 30 to 35 degrees. And I don't know the high temps because I wasn't able to test it. But I know that this is a highly rated, it's a very good CPU cooler. So unfortunately, I could not bring that to you. I will probably wind up buying a 5900X to replace this at my cost, because I'm probably not going to get this replaced. So lesson to you, if you're buying a brand new CPU and it's AMD, I think you actually have better luck online than you do your local computer shop, because I find this really crappy, honestly. So anyway, if they're not going to do it, I'm obviously not going to give them my business anymore, or a whole lot less than I was. I could have bought this probably from Newegg, because now they got a better return policy, and said, look, I got it, this is how it is, and they would have probably said, yep, return it, especially now. But I guess this company is just choosing that it had to have been my fault, and they're not going to let me. So unfortunately, that means I can't do temperature testing at the moment. I will replace it with a 5900X, another one, and we'll do the testing then. So stay tuned for that. That'll be in another video once I sort all this stuff out. So the installation, hopefully I helped you out, answer some questions. If you have any questions, send them my way. Let me know, put them in the comments. If you're new here, think about subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications from videos as they come up. And we'll see you next time. Take care.